turtle tap dancing on the beach. Why not? Okay, that looks pretty accurate to me. So pick the C, so that means it's gonna replace the top part, and we want to replace it with space. So let's see if that works. So it should take the other parts of the picture should not change. So our little turtle and the ground don't change, but now it's in outer space, and that's real. So let's say you wanted to do this yourself. So for Stable Diffusion, for example, like essentially what I do is that I create a truss which creates this scaffold for me inside this folder, and inside there I essentially like write the same code that I would if I was trying to call this once. So here when I load the model, I'm like loading a specific scheduler. I'm loading the model from the Stable Diffusion pipeline, and I'm just like making sure that I'm using a GPU so that when I deploy it, it's fast. And then when I'm predicting, I'm like just taking everything in the request, passing it to the model, and then just like making sure that I send the image back as an array. So that's pretty much all I had to do is like learn how to call the model once, learn how to load the model, put the code in here, and then I have to make sure that when I deploy it, like I'm using a GPU. This is the specific GPU I wanted to use. And I tell it, here are the Python requirements that I need. So I did that for Stable Diffusion. I did that for the segmentation model we talked about. And then similarly with the in-painting model, similar setup, I just convert the input images before I call the model. So once you have these, how do we get them on base 10? So I wrote this little deploy script, which essentially like lets me grab an API key from my base 10 account. I load the trust that I just developed, and then I can literally just say I want to deploy this, right? So this is my text to image model. This is my image to image model. And then we could do the same for the segmentation model. We just give it like the right trust. And then when you run this, we take care of essentially like zipping up everything that you need, building the right dependencies on base 10, and then your model just works out of the box that way. Here's my models. So now that it's on base 10, I could see like different versions of the models I had previously. I can potentially change the resources. Like maybe I want to run it with a different GPU. But once I have this model and I'm building my service around it, let's say my traffic changes and like my service got more popular. All I have to do is like come into base 10, slide this up, press upgrade resources. It won't interrupt how I'm serving traffic currently. And then it will just like make sure that if I get more traffic, it scales up with that without interrupting my service.